Hey everyone, if you enjoy gaming on a budget, you'll love today's video. We're taking a look at a few great deals you can pick up right now in the Nintendo eShop. Every game is under $5 and at an all-time low price. You'll be able to shop with confidence knowing you pick these gems up without having to spend too much money. And so with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome to the Digital Game Room. Stay safe out there and please enjoy the video. Alright, we'll start with ANIMUS Revenant, which is a single-player 3D action-adventure game with a download around 2.5 gigs. This one offers dozens of hours of tough gameplay. It features stamina-based combat, and of course you can upgrade your character with different stats, so there's a bit of variety to how you play through. On top of that, there are tons of armor and weapon upgrades defined, and you also have a crafting system in place as well. Again, this is a tough game, but well worth diving into. Right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, marked down to just $3.90, with the deal ending on the 8th. Up next we have Emma Lost in Memories, which is a single-player puzzle platformer with a bit of a twist thrown in. At the start of every level, you're on a timer. The walls and platforms begin to disappear, so you have to think and act quickly, otherwise it's a long fall to starting over. Now the game can be completed in roughly 3 to 5 hours, and it has a download around 200 megabytes. Another thing to keep in mind is that your character runs automatically at a fixed speed, so that becomes part of the challenge, and after you've completed the levels you can revisit them to play the memory chest mode as well. There's a lot to like here, as long as you don't mind auto runners of course. Emma Lost in Memories can be picked up right now for just $1.99, marked down 75%, and the deal ends on the 7th. Ghosts and Apples is one of my go-to puzzle games here on the console. It has simple controls and a simple premise where you have to stack ghosts by colors in several different stages. Now some of them do have unique gimmicks to them, and it can be pretty tough as well, as you're usually on a timer. With that said though, I truly enjoy picking this one up every now and again for a quick play session. It also has 2-player local co-op where you can compete with one another in several different game modes as well, and right now you can pick it up at an all-time low, marked down to half price at just $4.99. The deal ends on the 8th and you'll need about 200 megabytes for the download. Henderson is an arcade-style shooter here on the Switch with a 16-bit retro look. The game has a download around 250 megabytes and offers tons of replay value, plus you get different ships that you can pilot right from the start, and they all have their own weapons and different play styles. Not only is there a ton of variety to how you play, but there's also a ton of different enemy types and more than a dozen different bosses to face off with. Plus the game has a one-color graphical mode for those that have trouble with colors or things like that. Right now it's on sale for just $3.19, marked down 60%, and the deal ends on the 8th. Trash Quest is a fun single-player Metroidvania with a download around 200 megabytes, and it offers about 2 hours of gameplay. Now, as you can see, they went with a unique look, but the gameplay is somewhat unique as well, in that you have no checkpoints, just a single respawn point, which happens to be a trash bin, and our main character is a gun-toting raccoon that isn't quite himself when hungry. One of the things I really enjoy about the game is any power-ups or shortcuts that you unlock will remain after death, and if you get lost, you can always pull up the map. It's not a ton of help, but at least it's there. The game also has online leaderboards, and there is a speedrun fandom out there for the game as well. Right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down to an all-time low, and the deal ends on the 9th. Wizard of Legend is a top-down dungeon crawler that offers local co-op for 2 players, and it comes with a download around 1 gig. The gameplay is fast and the controls feel great here on the console. There are a ton of different spells you can find and use, and they encourage you to chain them together for bonus damage. It really is a blast to play, but it's also kinda tough, so be prepared for that if you decide to jump in. You could easily spend a few dozen hours playing, especially if you have a friend to hop in with, and right now you can pick up this gem for just $4.79, again marked down to an all-time low, with the deal ending on the 7th. Darkwater Slime Invader is a single-player action platformer with a download around 1.3 gigs, and it should offer about 3 to 5 hours of gameplay on average. The art design is beautiful and it has that unique water paint look to it. On top of that, the movement and controls feel great, and the combat is incredibly satisfying. It also has an all-original soundtrack as well, and features 2 main protagonists for us to adventure with. Right now it's on sale for just $2.54, marked down 83%, with the deal ending on the 8th of next month. Dungeon Limbus is a single-player strategy RPG with a download around 375 megabytes, and it offers players a ton of replay value. Of course, it's a roguelike, and naturally you're meant to die over and over while leveling up your character in order to push a bit further into the story. Players will have to venture into dungeons to kill creatures and of course collect loot while having to manage their town when not adventuring. The maps are randomized to keep things fresh, and of course the boss battles are a lot of fun as well. Right now you can pick up Dungeon Limbus for just $254, a new low with the deal ending on the 8th. Goblin Sword is a single-player side-scrolling action RPG with a roughly 10-hour main story and a small download at around 250 megabytes. Now with this one you get more than 80 different levels, cool boss battles, collectibles, and the unique feature to this game is that you have different animal forms that you can switch between to move around or help solve puzzles. It's a great platformer with a ton of content, and right now it's marked down 60% to just $199, matching an all-time low, and the deal ends on the 14th. Here Be Dragons is a single-player turn-based strategy game with a download around 780 megabytes, and it offers about 6 to 10 hours of gameplay on average. Now it features what they call a living map that evolves as you play and focuses on naval combat. The way the game constantly introduces new enemies keeps the player on their toes, and you're always excited to see what they'll throw at you next. Now shortly after starting, you realize it's not just a card-based battle system, but they also allow you to enhance each character with dice rolls that are randomized at each turn as well. It's surprisingly deep, and right now you can pick it up for just $449, matching an all-time low until the 7th. In My Shadow is a single-player puzzle game with a story that revolves around a little girl as she tries to piece together her memories. It gives the player more than 50 puzzles to solve. They're spread across 4 different rooms. The unique feature here is that you have to move objects around to create shadows that can then help to finish working out each of the puzzles, and the puzzles themselves can be solved in several different ways a lot of the time. The story being told is pretty deep, but it's a great game, and right now you can pick it up for just $480, marked out at less than half price, and matching an all-time low with the deal ending on the 11th. The download comes in at about 1.5 gigs. Jetboard Joust is a fast-paced, retro-inspired arcade shooter where players battle hordes of alien invaders as you speed through dynamic landscapes on your jetboard. It's a rather short game as far as the main campaign is concerned, but you do have a decent bit of replay value to make up for it. You can upgrade your weapons, face off with challenging bosses, and enjoy intense aerial combat with addictive gameplay and a visually striking pixel art style. It's an incredible value, and right now you can pick it up for just $199, marked down 80% until the 13th, and the download is just under 300 megabytes. Reknum is a one-player retro-style action platformer with a download around 140 megabytes, and this game, along with the others in the series, are some of the tougher platformers I've played in recent years. This is mainly due to the instant death that can happen from different traps you'll find scattered around each of the different levels. Now you can take a bit of damage from regular enemies, but there's no checkpoints, so you'll want to be careful, otherwise it's back to the start of the level in no time. The graphics and audio design fit really well with the gameplay, and the combat is fun, even if a bit simple, which is okay because the game is difficult enough as it is. Fans of old school difficulty will feel right at home with this one, and right now you can pick it up for just $199, marked down 60% until the 7th of next month. Shakedown Hawaii is a single-player top-down action title and the follow-up to Retro City Rampage. Again, it plays a lot like GTA, only with that retro aesthetic. The game has us following a businessman as he attempts to shake down other local businesses and take over the island. Now you do switch to a few other characters along the way, and it features brutal gunplay, responsive controls, and again a pretty comedic story about an old man having to catch up with modern technology in order to keep his criminal empire thriving. Right now it's on sale for just $399, marked down 80% to an all-time low, and the deal ends again on the 7th. You'll need a little under 200 megabytes for the install. Sword of the Vagrant is a 2D platformer with light RPG mechanics added into the mix. It has a download around 1.5 gigs and should give you more than 10 hours of gameplay. Now what's strange is this is a title that runs better in handheld versus docked, at least in my experience with the game. It did have a rough release, but it's been patched up quite a bit to make it run a lot smoother here on the console. There's a ton of enemy variety, plenty of weapons at your disposal, and a crafting system for upgrading your gear, and the game even offers multiple endings as well. On top of that, there are 4 difficulty settings ranging from casual to hardcore, so no matter where you fall on that scale, the game is something you can approach without much concern. Right now it's on sale for just $4.99, marked down to half price with the deal ending on the 7th. Viviette is a single-player top-down adventure-style game that places us inside of a haunted mansion, with our main goal being to solve puzzles and avoid being caught by the roaming ghost. It plays a lot like older Resident Evil games, with items that you have to find and combine to solve puzzles, and it does require a bit of inventory management as well. As you play through, you constantly find yourself having to run and hide from a roaming monster that will attack on sight. It has a gorgeous 16-bit retro look and a compelling story that should last about 4 to 5 hours. Right now you can pick it up, marked down to half price at just $4.99 with the deal ending on the 8th. The download is just under 150 megabytes. Alright everyone, thank you all for watching and hanging out. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if this was your first time here. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.